What's something most people don't realize will kill you in seconds? Large herbivores. They've evolved defenses to make large predators rethink their life choices. They will mess you up. Enclosed spaces. Don't assume it's the air you're used to down there. One simple wrong move on the highway. Hey, that small invertebrate you found by the sea, please leave it alone. Falling from a regular standing height might not seem dangerous, but it can be surprisingly lethal. A simple trip or slip can result in a head injury or a bad fall that causes internal bleeding, especially in older adults or those with brittle bones. The impact on the head, even from just standing height, can cause brain trauma or a fatal injury if not treated immediately. It's something most people don't think about, but it's a serious risk that can turn deadly in a matter of seconds. This is why falls are a leading cause of injury-related deaths, particularly in the elderly. Water. People often do not respect water and how it can quickly kill you. Things under huge amounts of tension. Boat lines, garage door springs, various other cables or springs used in industrial settings. These can send you back to the character select in an instant. Capacitors. Maybe most people don't interact with them, but for those that do, DIY electronics repairs, a typical PSU in a home computer have capacitors that can kill you. Shocking, I know. A fistfight might seem like a momentary burst of anger, but it can quickly turn deadly. One wrong punch, especially to the head or neck, can cause catastrophic injury, leading to death. It's easy to underestimate the force behind a punch, but the human body is more fragile than we often realize. If someone dies as a result of that punch, it could mean facing manslaughter charges and ending up in prison for years. What starts as a heated argument can end in tragedy, altering lives forever in just a few seconds. Carbon dioxide. People have died playing with dry ice. Texting while driving. So I was trying to look up a DIY mixture to remove mold mildew recently. A surprising number of sources, including an AI tool, suggested mixing bleach and vinegar. Inhalants. I tried them once in high school. 2 weeks later, a kid at another school died from using them the first time. A couple weeks after that, I was offered them again. I told them fuck no and asked if they hadn't heard about the dead kid. They looked at me and seriously replied, "Oh yeah, it's okay. He used the wrong brand. He used the blue bottle instead of the purple bottle." Horses, we've lived with them for so long that unless you spend regular time around them, you don't know just how unbelievably dangerous they are. It's a good thing they're so stupid, or we'd be fucked. Movies have people believing they're these docile creatures that live to serve humans. Those are the ones that have been trained extensively. They are otherwise 1,500 pounds of dumb, panicky hair trigger muscle. Carbon monoxide. Well, minutes, but still. It's odorless and colourless. Most likely you won't even know. Hitting your head against a wall. There's a pretty famous story about a basketball player who missed a shot, got annoyed and headbutted, if I remember correctly, the post the hoop is attached to. Didn't kill him but paralysed him from the neck down for life. People do die from doing this. I've seen people get mad and headbutt something 100 times, but do it wrong once and that's it, you're dead. Edit. He made the shot, but was called out, got a foul so it didn't count. He died 13 years later. Someone has replied with a video link, but watch at your own discretion, it's not nice. Brake checking a semi-truck is incredibly dangerous. Yet some people don't realise just how deadly it can be. When a semi is forced to brake suddenly, its massive size and weight make it nearly impossible to stop quickly. The truck can easily plough into the vehicle in front, crushing it instantly. This reckless act can lead to devastating accidents, often with fatal outcomes. It's shocking that some drivers don't see the obvious risk, but it only takes a split second to cause a tragedy. Garage door springs are under extreme tension, and many people don't realize just how dangerous they can be. If one of these springs snaps while you're trying to fix it, The force can be lethal, causing severe injury or even death in an instant. That's why it's crucial to let a professional handle any repairs involving garage door springs. It's not worth the risk of trying to do it yourself, as the consequences can be catastrophic in just a matter of seconds. Slipping in the shower. Mixing a lot of stuff with benzos, alcohol, opiates, other benzos, etc. Edit. Damn, this blew up. You all stay safe. You can recover and get help. A family friend who taught me how to drive many years ago told me you have to drive like everyone else on the road is an absolute idiot and has no idea what they're doing. I never forgot that. A ruptured aneurysm can kill you in seconds. It's often sudden and without warning, making it extremely dangerous and usually fatal if not treated immediately. A rogue brick on the highway might seem like a small obstacle, but it can be deadly. At high speeds, hitting a brick can cause a tyre blowout, loss of control, or even send the brick flying into another car's windshield. The sudden impact or swerve to avoid it can lead to serious accidents, potentially killing drivers or passengers in seconds. It's one of those dangers that's easily overlooked until it's too late. Maternal hemorrhage. I am routinely shocked by expectant mothers who want to give birth at home, arguing that they can always transfer to the hospital if there's a problem. No, they can't. If the wrong type of bleeding begins, they'll be dead before the ambulance gets there. Edit. As noted below, in some countries, certified nurse midwives attend home births with medications they can use to treat hemorrhage. However, that is not the case in the US, where insurance requirements mean that most CNMs must be attached to hospitals. In many American states, midwife is not a restricted term, so self-described midwives with no qualifications at all get hired to attend home births. The results are a fairly predictable higher mortality rate for home births versus hospital births in America. Poorly designed and manufactured submarines, milliseconds actually. Moving water. It's freaking dangerous. Water is heavy, so when it's moving, it has a lot of energy. It might not feel too bad walking through knee-deep flowing water, but if you fall, the water will have more area to push on. You may not be able to get yourself on your feet again. The Great Lakes. Just this past weekend, 4 people decided to go in the water near my house, even though the beach was under red flag warning and high waves. 3 got pulled out by a good Samaritan when they got in trouble. 3 days later, and Coast Guard and Fire Department still hasn't found the body of the 4th one. Riptides are real. Weather kicks up fast. The Great Lakes are huge and dangerous. This is not your local pontoon lake. Rust. If you run into a hole in the ground with rusty stuff inside, that does not get good ventilation. Don't go in. Rust is iron combined with oxygen, and it can eat all of the oxygen in the air. And fun fact, your body can't tell how much oxygen is in the air, but does sense carbon dioxide is there. So you don't know you are going until you are dead. Mixing isopropyl alcohol with bleach is a chemical hazard that most people aren't aware of, but it can be incredibly dangerous. When these 2 substances combine, they create chloroform and other toxic compounds. Inhaling these fumes can cause dizziness, nausea, and in severe cases, respiratory failure or even death. It's a silent but deadly mistake that can turn a routine cleaning task into a life-threatening situation within seconds. The reaction can also produce enough heat to cause burns or even ignite a fire. This is why it's crucial to always read labels and never mix household chemicals unless you're certain it's safe. If you get hit in the chest at a specific part of the heart's cardiac rhythm, dead. If you accidentally massage your carotid and have a vagal sensitivity, dead. If you have a genetic predisposition for certain arrhythmias and get startled, dead. The heart is a tricksy thing, eater. This is very rare. However, if you have any family members who have died unexpectedly and young and have a history of fainting for no reason, get an EKG ASAP. Not looking both ways before crossing a street seems like a basic rule, but it's one that can easily be forgotten in a moment of distraction. Failing to check for oncoming traffic can lead to being hit by a vehicle, and the impact can be fatal in an instant. It's a small mistake that can have life-altering consequences, turning a simple act like crossing the street into a deadly event. Unfortunately, it's something many people overlook, especially when they're in a hurry or distracted by their phones. Manipulations by chiropractors. And if the manipulation doesn't kill you, it can certainly cause paraplegia or quadriplegia, vertebral dissections. The sad part is that chiropractors will never own up to the fact, and they'll actually claim that patients are coming in with an active stroke. Unfortunately, a lot of their research is skewed. I would highly recommend looking into the American Medical Association, particularly neurologist, to see the detrimental effects that a chiropractor can have. It's unfortunate how many people die secondary to a chiropractic manipulations, particularly in the neck and back. For reference, I am an occupational therapist who has seen plenty of paraplegics and quadriplegics secondary to chiropractic injury. Inhalants, aka huffing. Intentionally inhaling anything aerosol, helium, nitrous, chemical with the intention of getting high. My 15-year-old brother was an artifact of that behavior when he died in a crash after his friend huffed air freshener while driving. And they never went to jail because the law didn't include inhalants. My family went before Congress and got the DUI law changed to include it, and it's known as Keith's Law. Power tools are incredibly useful, but they can be extremely dangerous if not handled properly. Even the ones that seem harmless can cause severe injuries or death in seconds if misused. A moment of inattention or a malfunction can lead to cuts, amputations, or worse. Many people underestimate the risks, thinking, "It won't happen to me," but accidents with power tools are more common than you might think. Always respect the power behind these tools, because one wrong move can be life-changing. The ocean is beautiful, but it can be deadly, especially when it comes to riptides. These powerful currents can pull even the strongest swimmers out to sea in seconds. Many people underestimate the ocean's strength, thinking they can swim against it, but riptides are relentless and can lead to drowning before you even realize what's happening. It's a hidden danger that claims lives every year, often because people don't recognize the warning signs until it's too late. A motorcycle. Crashed my Harley and have had 3 spinal surgeries, had 7 broken ribs, torn rotator cuffs. If I hadn't been wearing my helmet, which I didn't for years trying to be a tough guy, idiot, I probably wouldn't be writing this. Helmet was scraped down to the inner layer. Hi, I'm an EMS. Please wash your hands before you eat stuff. So many people come in contact with so many other people who have illnesses that can be contracted by eating with unclean fingers. Even if you've been around people you know all day, you never know who they've been around. And sometimes it's not even illnesses, rather random germs. And I know this is obvious to some people, but next time you see a local EMS crew eating food with their funny coloured gloves on, it's because we've made a habit, even if we hadn't run any calls that day. Of course, if you aren't in healthcare, you're not being exposed to as much, but sometimes you need a reminder just how dirty the outside world really is. LMAO. Do not fuck with koalas, they are capable of ending you. Eating polar bear liver. You'll die of vitamin A poisoning. Vitamin A is not water-soluble, and eating too much can lead to painful symptoms and death. 1 polar bear liver has enough to kill over 50 adults. Polar bear liver, not even once. Doing your own electrical work might seem like a good way to save money, but it's incredibly risky if you don't know what you're doing. One wrong connection or a simple mistake can lead to electrocution or a fire, which can happen in seconds. Electricity is unforgiving, and the consequences of an error can be fatal. That's why it's always safer to leave electrical work to a professional or someone with experience. The cost of hiring an expert is nothing compared to the potential danger of doing it yourself. I stopped 2 German or Austrian tourists from touching a poisonous frog in Colombia. They had no idea. They were inches away with their phones. I hadn't spoken German in years, but man, my panic reaction brought those words to the tip of my tongue real fast. Don't mess with wildlife, especially outside your own habitat. Scuba diving is an incredible experience, but it comes with serious risks that many people don't fully appreciate. One of the biggest dangers is losing track of time underwater. The deeper you go, the more crucial it becomes to monitor your time and oxygen levels. If you stay down just a minute too long, you risk running out of air or ascending too quickly, which can lead to decompression sickness or even death. It's easy to get caught up in the beauty of the underwater world and forget just how limited your time is. That's why strict attention to your dive plan and safety protocols is essential. The ocean is breathtaking, but it's also unforgiving if you're not careful. Eating or drinking is something we do every day without much thought, but it carries a hidden danger: choking. It only takes a small piece of food going down the wrong way to block your airway, and if you can't dislodge it quickly, the situation can turn fatal in seconds. It's a frighteningly common risk that most of us don't think about until it happens. That's why it's important to eat slowly and be mindful, especially with foods that are easy to choke on. Blood clot. A friend of mine stepped into his room for his jacket, never came out. He just dropped dead in his bedroom, jacket in hand. He had a leg injury, causing a massive bruise. The blood clot from the bruise broke loose and caused an embolism a week later. Using a massage gun on your neck. While handheld massage guns are generally safe to use on muscles, using them on the neck can be dangerous. The high vibrations produced by massage guns can injure unprotected areas of the neck and in rare cases can cause soft tissue damage or stroke-like symptoms. Air in the bloodstream is something most people don't think about, but it can be deadly. If air enters a vein or artery, it can cause an air embolism, which can lead to a heart attack, stroke, or death in a matter of seconds. A cut to a major artery, like the femoral artery in your leg, can also be lethal if not treated immediately. You might have seen this dramatized in war movies like Band of Brothers, where soldiers face such injuries. While the scenes might seem exaggerated, the reality is just as dire. If that artery is severed, you can bleed out quickly, and without immediate intervention, it's often fatal. It's a stark reminder of how fragile our bodies can be and the importance of immediate medical attention in such situations. Jumping into unknown water might seem like a fun adventure, but it's incredibly risky. You never know what's beneath the surface. There could be rocks, debris, or shallow areas that you can't see. One wrong jump can lead to severe injuries, paralysis, or even death if you hit your head or land awkwardly. It's a split-second decision that can have life-altering consequences. What seems like a harmless dive could end in tragedy if you're not careful. Stairs, lose your footing and the result can be fatal. Riding a bike without a helmet might feel freeing, but it's a dangerous gamble. A fall or collision, even at low speeds, can cause severe head injuries or even death. Helmets are designed to absorb the impact and protect your skull, but without one, your head is vulnerable to serious trauma. It only takes one accident to change your life forever. Many people underestimate this risk, but the consequences can be devastating in just a matter of seconds. Hard drugs laced with fentanyl. I lived in NYC until shortly after the pandemic. Lots of my friends are still into that partying lifestyle. Dancing all night, doing key bumps in the bathroom, all that stupid shit. Well, they are all freaking out lately because Fent is showing up in the coke, the molly, the everything. It's a really good time to be sober. Your first time could really be your last. Cars were mentioned. I was going to say taking off at a green light without waiting to see if someone runs a red light in the opposite direction. Years ago, I paused at green light probably longer than usual, but as I was about to go, someone blew the red light while speeding. If I had went, I would have been T-boned on the driver's side and probably died or been severely injured. It shook me for weeks thinking of my mortality after that moment. Entering or falling into a septic tank. Deaths are often not isolated to one person, but also the people who come in after in an attempt to rescue them. Running across the street and assuming the car sees you and will stop, just wait for the light. I would venture to say most people realize what can kill you instantly, but less commonly discussed would be dehydration. Yes, you can die within seconds from it. Heart failure is what gets you, and if you are already primed for a heart attack due to either unhealthy habits or genetics, dehydration can kill you in seconds. Some drop dead of a widowmaker right there on the spot. Dehydration truly is a gamble, so be cautious with it. Happens a lot in the summer months as people pick up alcohol and energy drinks instead of electrolytes. Using a pedestrian crossing and not watching out for traffic. Cars don't magically stop at crosswalks, but I see people doing this all the time. I don't even cross until I see the car has completely stopped. I know the watch people die type subreddits are controversial, but holy crap. Were they a good reminder of how quick you can be killed by cars, industrial equipment, random events out of your control? Honestly, they were a very good reminder of just how fragile we are. Stay safe and be aware of the hidden dangers around you. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more eye-opening stories. See you in the next one.